today's outdoor education, I just kind of want to talk a little bit about knives and the importance of knives when you're going out into the wilderness. Um, Often you typically think about taking a knife if you're going on like an overnight stay or something a little bit more lengthy or dangerous. But if you're going out to the woods even for a couple of hours, it's a really great idea to carry a knife with you. Or some type of sharp edge for protection and for shelter and for food and for whatever you might come into. Injuries, there's lots of different reasons. There's a lot of older style versions of knives, like these ones. And then as well, I'm going to talk a little bit about these sort of newer style versions of knives and sort of what you can get when you buy one. So when you're talking about knives, one of the things you kind of want to think about is how sharp you want your blade to be. On something like a working thing like a hatchet or an axe, you want a little bit more of a duller angle on it, about a 30-degree angle when you're sharpening it. And that's because the sharper the angle, the less long it lasts, the less the edge can stay sharp. So if you sharpen it sort of duller with the constant movement of an axe, it'll last longer. Where if it's a sharper edge, it won't last as long. So when you're using an axe or a hatchet, usually a 30 degree angle is ideal. Something that's a sharper knife that you really need to cut through, but you want to last while it's in the woods, about a 20 to 25 degree angle is ideal. So that way you can use it multiple times, but you get the sharpness that you need. So anywhere that you can buy a knife, you can buy one of these knife sharpening kits, which really usually have everything that you need all in one. It's a good idea anytime before you go out into the woods, you're going to want to sharpen your knife so it's nice and sharp before you start. In these kits, you'll definitely usually find a honing solution. If your kit doesn't have a honing solution, this is to kind of wet the steel for the steel sharpening edge. If there's no honing solution, you can always just wet this stone with water. It also comes with these, which is great. This is called just like a cheater. This one here, it says it's 23 degrees right on it. And this so kind of get you the exact angle that you need for sharpening. This here is sort of like a finer edge sharpener stone that will come in some kits. This is for a really precise knife sharpening. If you're just going into the wilderness for protection, you probably don't need this feature. So if your knife sharpening kit comes with this, you probably don't need it. So the first thing I'm going to do is take this honing solution and just sort of wet your stone with it. You're going to take the cheater edge and put it right on your stone, and then take the knife with your thumb on the side and your first finger here holding onto the knife and the edge over here. You're going to want to place it on the stone. Now when you're sharpening a knife, your kind of first instinct is to push hard down onto the stone to get a firm edge on it. That's not what you want to do. You just want to guide your edge across the stone so it sharpens it sort of naturally. So I'm going to place my knife onto this cheater and slide it down so I know I'm at the right angle. See how I'm too far off? I need to move up here so make sure I'm sharpening the whole knife, excuse me. So I put this here, press it down, and then without adding too much pressure, just slide it across. You'll see how when I came to this curve, I turned my wrist to make sure that this part got sharpened. I always want to make sure however much I sharpen on this side, I want to match the exact amount of sharpness when I go to the other side. So if I do 2 swipes on this side, lining it up all the way to the edge, pushing it, try that again. And then I want to switch it over to this side. So I'll put my thumb here, my index finger here, move the cheater over, make sure I use the whole thing and do 2 on this side. If you don't have one of these little cheaters, you can use your thumb. So your thumb is about 1 inch. So about half of the size of your thumb is a perfect angle for sharpening a knife. So if you put your thumb straight here and then take your knife, slide it to the bottom, halfway up your thumb, that angle there, that's about the perfect angle to sharpen your knife. So next we're going to show you how to sharpen sort of a wider edge like a hatchet. So I have the hatchet in a position so it's away from my skin so I don't cut myself, but it's really nice and secure. So I take the stone, and when you take the stone, you want to place it on the edge so you can almost feel that the stone is touching all angles of the edge. You want to make sure that this shelf here is completely covered by the stone. And then as you push down, you continue to feel it all the way down. You might have saw that we ran out of the honing solution in my last video, so we just wet the stone with water, and it's working just as well. So you make sure it's all covered, push it down, just like that. And then for the back, same thing. You just want to make sure that your stone is completely sort of flat onto the hatchet, and then you want to make sure that you sharpen this side again the same amount of times that you sharpen the other side. And you can see have a sharp edge. If you want to test the sharpness of your knife, you can always take just like a piece of paper, hold it taut, and then if it cuts easily as you cut down, that you should know that your knife is sharp enough. I showed you how to sharpen sort of these older style knives. If you don't have one of these though, these sort of newer high-tech knives have a lot of features that are really great if you're going out into the woods, whether it's for a few days or a few hours. Has a ton of great things for safety, and I'll just kind of go over them now. So you can get these at any outdoor store or a Canadian Tire. This is a Bear Grylls model, but there's lots of different kinds. So when you take the knife out, you will see it has the nice sharp edge. It also has sort of a serrated blade here if you ever want to do any sawing or cutting. It has this little, where the fire is there, that's a flint starter, and the package also comes with flint. So with this knife, you're able to create fire. It also has these two holes in it are actually for if you ever had to put your knife on a stick to make some type of weapon, you can wrap your ties into here so it can stay on a stick. The edge here is straight and it can be used as a hammer. And it also has a whistle, which is quite loud. So this package that kind of stays on your hip has a sharpening blade, or sharpening stone, excuse me, just like we taught you before. So you can use that to sharpen your knife if you're in the woods. And also it has this really excellent survival guide included in the paper in the back. And it has lots of different things from making a shelter to cooking to SOS signals, making tarps, things to do if there's an injury. Really a lot of great information for a survival guide is found on this. So if you are looking to sort of start a really basic collection of things to bring when you're going out into the woods, I think that a simple knife like this not very heavy, doesn't carry a lot of weight. You don't have to remember to pack a lot of stuff, but it has a lot of great valuable things that you may need if you ever came into some type of situation in the woods. So hopefully by now you learned a little bit more about knives, sharpening, and sort of the importance of having a sharp knife if you're going out into the woods. If you want to watch the next video I'm going to do, which is about sort of what to pack in a bag that you're going to take to go into the woods to protect yourself. Have a good day.